Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tepi tanmuka niryatam yasho lokamapmalapaham harer nishamya tatpadam dhyayanastadgatim yayuh. Tepi tanmuka niryatam yasho lokamalapaham harer nishamya tatpadam ध्यायन्तस्तद्गतिं ययुः. तेऽपि तन्मुखनिर्यातं यशो लोकमलापहम् हरेर्निशम्य तत्पादं ध्यायन्तस्तदं गतिं ययुः. Please repeat. तन्मुखनिर्यातं यशो लोक यशो लोक हरेर्निशम्य यशो लोक. Word to word. Te, the prachetas, api, also, tat, of Narada, mukha, from the mouth, niryatam, gone forth, yashaha, glorification, loka, of the world, mala, sins, apaham, destroying, hare, of the Hari, Lord Hari, nishamya, having heard, tat, of the Lord, padam, feet, dhyaya antaha, meditating upon, tad gatim, onto his abode, yayuhu, went. Translation. Hearing from Narada's mouth the glories of the Lord, which vanquish all the ill fortune of the world, the Prachetas also became attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Meditating on his lotus feet, they advanced to the ultimate destination. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Here it is seen that by hearing the glories of the Lord from a realized devotee, the Prachetas easily attained strong attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then, meditating on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, at the end of their lives, they advanced to the ultimate goal, Vishnu Loka. It is sure and certain that anyone who always hears the glories of the Lord and thinks of his lotus feet will reach that supreme destination. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 1865, Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mam evaishyasika satyam te prati jane priyosmi. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homages unto me. Thus you will come to me without fear. I promise you this, because you are my very dear friend. Om Magyana Timirandasya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Srimate Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Paschatya Desh. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare.
Hare Krishna. So, it's our great fortune that today we have with us Rasasagar, Rasasagar Govinda Prabhu, born in Telangana. He completed his master's in computer application. Roji worked more than 7-8 years in America and working in US. That time he got connected there. And one day he just walked to GV, met Gaurav, that I want to get here for the fourth time. It's last 2 year project. Pune, that make a DVR, Vedanta. Let us welcome
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram Ram.
Thank you everyone, especially Udit. Anandani, my Prabhu. I'm very scared to speak. I was told that nobody would be here. But Prabhuji, I am seeking your blessings to speak few words. So in this verse, as we see, so hearing from Narada's mouth the glories of the Lord, which vanquish all the ill fortune of the world, the Prachetas also became attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, can anybody tell me what is the highlight of this verse? So, as per I understood, like there are two things, like two main things. Like one thing is hearing from a pure devotee, and another thing, the result is we get the attraction or attachment to Krishna, and that is our ultimate destination. So Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, here it is seen that by hearing the glories of the Lord from a realized devotee, the Prachetas easily attained strong attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have been performing devotional service, and our main aim is to, what is the aim? What? Back to Godhead, yes. So for that we have to hear from a pure devotee, right? And who is a pure devotee? So the process, who is following sincerely and seriously the pure devotional process, is a pure devotee. And who is following the footsteps of the previous acharyas, especially Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara. So he can be a pure devotee, and you can hear from him. And especially the books written by Srila Prabhupada, they are here for next 10,000 years. So we have to hear, we have to read his lectures, we have to read his books, because Prabhupada himself used to read his books. Why? Hmm? Yes, it is dictated by Krishna himself. So Prabhupada himself he used to read. So whatever a pure devotee speaks, like he speaks, Krishna speaks through him. And what Krishna himself dictated the books. Otherwise, it is not possible to write those many books in a short span and traveling all over the world. So it's quite impossible. If you speak to a scholar or some book writer, so he will appreciate what Prabhupada actually did because he know the value of you know the time it takes to write books, translations. So we have to read Prabhupada books. So that is the first thing, hearing from pure devotee, which increases our attraction to the Lord. And Srimad Bhagavatam, especially we have to hear Srimad Bhagavatam because Krishna appeared like when Krishna went back to his abode, he went with Dharma and Jnana because Kali Yuga is coming, the age of darkness. So Krishna went his abode. So many sages and many devotees they prayed Krishna. So what is the destiny of Kali Yuga people? So that's why Krishna appeared as Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna Swadam no Bhagate. So he went and he appeared as a sun. A sun appears in the darkness to remove the darkness, just like Krishna appeared to remove the darkness of age of the Kali. So when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, actually Krishna is there. Krishna is present. Krishna is not different from Srimad Bhagavatam. So especially today is very auspicious day, Deepawali. So Diwali. So the most significant part of this festival is like the cause of this festival is Lord Ram returned from 14 years of exilation. How many years? 14 years of exilation. He returned to where? Ayodhya. So all the citizens of Ayodhya are very much attached to Lord Ram. And they are feeling separation. You know separation? What is separation? What is separation? Yes. So we miss the person if you are not seeing someone who you are very close to. So we miss him and we always think of him. We lament sometimes, right? So the Ayodhya Vasis, they are very much, almost depressed. But the depression or that sadness is not material. That is transcendental. The feeling anything which connects to Krishna, which is connected to Krishna, is transcendental. Otherwise, if the same feeling, if you have any with anybody else, material relationships, so that will end in the misery. So all the relationships we should put Krishna in the center. Then whatever the feeling, whether it is sad or happy, there is no difference. Like it gives the bliss. So Ayodhya Vasis, they waited for 14 years. When Lord Ram was going back, going to forest, so many people were running behind his ratha, right? So many people were crying, even his own mother and father. They were running after the ratha. They were very old. At that time, Dasharatha Maharaj was 60,000 years plus. So he was running behind the ratha. The ratha is like they are run by horses. They don't go slow. So they have that much love towards Lord Ramchandra. All the inhabitants of Ayodhya, they are running after Lord Ram. So they have developed this attachment, this love towards Lord Ram. And on this day, like after 14 years on this day, Lord Ram came back his kingdom. So people celebrated this by with love. They offered the lambs. decorated all the streets, all the homes with lamps, ghee lamps with ghee. They put ghee. So ghee represents the bliss, like the dormant bliss, the dormant love they have for Lord Ram. And when they lit the flame, the flame represents the intense separation they have, the intense bhakti they have, the intense love they have for Lord Ram. So they offered this ghee lamp. They lit this ghee lamp and they offered it all the way on the roads, in the homes. So what it represents is like the sadness, like the vishad, whatever they are experiencing when Lord comes, the love, the previous love, what they have before Lord Ram goes to forest, the love they had, it increased thousands of times because the separation makes the love very intense. So this love is illuminated in their heart. So the ghee represents the dormant love, which is intensed by their deep separation. So when Lord Rama came, their heart became more illuminated with the bliss, with the love. So that is why we celebrate Deepawali. Otherwise, there is no meaning in making firing crackers. So people nowadays they don't know why they are firing crackers. So one time, like one devotee, Prabhupada was giving a lecture to his Western disciples, especially in the US. So one Indian devotees they just visited the temple. So while Prabhupada was giving Bhagavatam class, so they were taking darshan of Radha and Krishna. So Prabhupada said, what is the importance of hearing? So when you hear, you understand who is Krishna, what is the energy of Krishna, how great is Krishna. And when you see the deity, you will understand who is he actually. So you don't take Krishna as cheaply. So you will know Gauranitai ki, Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. So Prabhupada was giving a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam. So these people, they don't know what is the philosophy. So we should know the philosophy. So then we can actually take nice darshan of the Lord. So Prabhupada was saying they are just massaging their eyes. So if you don't hear, if you don't have the knowledge who Krishna actually is, then whatever activity we do is just massaging our senses. So just like they hear, they hear outside mundane songs or mundane movies they watch. So we take Krishna, we take Radha Krishna similar. Nowadays serials are also coming, Radha and Krishna. So everything become cheap. So to have the credibility, we have to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the verse today is specifying. So we can actually relate very well the situation of Deepawali, the Ayodhyavasis, how they have intense attachment. They have attachment, right? They have love. So today's verse is also saying, because Prachetas heard Sril Narada Muni, they developed the attachment. So today verse is very suitable, to say the importance of Shravanam. And another importance of today is, according to Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, one of our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, Damodar Leela happened today. So we have been offering lamp in the Kartik month, Damodara month. So actual Leela happened is today, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Prabhupada. So the same, if you see, we are offering the lamp every day. right? So we are offering the lamp, as we discussed earlier, like the ghee represents our dormant love. We had love for Krishna, and we wanted something else. We want to enjoy on our own. So we came back to the material world. So, but what is there in the material world? What is there? What is there? Yes. Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. So once we understand this, by the mercy of Guru and Prabhupada and Shastra, when we hear it, our dormant love, when you practice it, when you flame it, intense, intense practice. What is it? Akama sarvakama, mokshakama udaradi, tivrena, bhakti yogena, yajeta purusham param. So when you do the intense practice of devotional service, so the ghee will help, the dormant love will illuminate our heart. It will become 1,000 folds, 100 folds. It will become reawakened, right? Then we can see the form of Sri Radha and Krishna in our hearts. And then we can serve more and more with love. At the same time, we can experience what we experience if you serve. Prashadam. So we experience the bliss actually, right? So I thought Sri Narada Muni explained his teachings, like almost in this chapter, like there are 14, 15 verses are there, especially his teachings he gave to Prachetas. So in those teachings, because of those teachings, when they heard, when they practiced, they got this love, they got this attachment towards Krishna. So I thought, like, while preparing for this class, I thought, let us speak about these teachings. So I prepared for that. Let's go into that. Srila Prabhupada also says the importance of hearing and pastimes of Krishna in the Puranjana section. At the end of Puranjana section, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, these narrations are full of the glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They constitute the most effective process for the purification of the mind. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirmed, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. The more we talk of Krishna, think of Krishna, and preach for Krishna, the more we become purified. So Prabhupada is saying, like, Srimad Bhagavatam and the other glories of Lord Krishna have the potency to purify the conditioned soul. Just like Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. What is it? What is the meaning of Cheto Darpana Marjanam? So cleaning, our heart, which became black by the smoke. Just like a mirror becomes black by the smoke, our heart become contaminated. So the process is chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So chanting is like kirtan. Chanting is kirtan. So Prabhupada is saying, like, here in the purport, the more we talk of Krishna, think of Krishna, and preach for Krishna, the more we become purified. So chanting is not different from thinking of Krishna and preaching for Krishna. When you do that, you can actually chant. When you hear about Krishna, when you read about Krishna, then you actually chant with focus. Right? How many of you here chant very attentively? No? So Prabhupada is saying, like, when you think of Krishna, when you preach for Krishna, when you talk of Krishna, that is Cheto Darpana Marjam. That is actually chanting. So any kirtan, like starts with Shravanam. Even if you want to chant, you have to know what is mantra, how to chant, daily. We hear, 10 offenses, how to chant. We hear, then we chant. So any kirtan, chanting or kirtan starts with Shravanam. So, one time Srila Prabhupada was introducing his Western disciples to the Indian, celebrities, like big people. So they said, like, they're very good, they're chanting mantras, and what do you think of them, Prabhupada was trying to inspire the Indians. So they thought, they said, like, one man said, like, they are very good, but their pronunciation of Sanskrit is not good. So Prabhupada said, you are seeing the pronunciation, see the renunciation. Yeah. So people left everything, and they are taking the process of chanting, Shravanam and Kirtanam. They renounced everything. So actually, it is said, like, what is the verse in Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita? Bharata Bhumite Manusya Janma hoy, Janma Sadhaka Kare, Karo Paropakar. So this is a responsibility of every Indian who takes birth in this India, land of India, has a responsibility. First, they have to do what? Janma Sardhaka Kare. They have to perfect their life following the Shravanam and Kirtanam, the bhakti process. And then they have to preach. The preaching is the essence. Right? Preaching is the responsibility. So Prabhupada is saying here, the more we talk of Krishna, think of Krishna, preach for Krishna, the more we become purified. And His Holiness Shri Radhanand Maharaj was saying in one lecture, preaching means attentive hearing. Right? Maharaj was saying, preaching means attentive hearing. So when you hear attentively while chanting or while hearing Srimad Bhagavatam class, like Prabhuji is here, from last, I heard Prabhuji's Glories like 40 years, more than 40 years. Is that right? 50 years, more than 50 years. Prabhuji is here. So by his example, so it inspires so many people. So that's what Maharaj is saying. Preaching is attentive hearing. Then when you hear, actually, when you hear properly, then you can preach. Otherwise, you cannot just hear something on the YouTube and you can preach. No. You cannot hear, you cannot, follow any other things which are not related to parampara. So we have to hear from parampara. Then you can actually preach. Otherwise, the preaching is not effective. It will actually do a big damage. So otherwise, if you don't hear attentively and if you don't hear from parampara, there is no use of preaching. It actually make so much negative effect. In another example, Srila Jaipatak Maharaj, he himself, even with so many difficulties, he gives classes. So his classes go on like, more than half an hour, 1 hour. Somebody has to repeat, right? So they take so much pain to serve Krishna. So he says, never give up. He always instructs everybody to preach and read Srila Prabhupada books. So that is an example. Our leaders, like especially Annimai Prabhu and other devotees, other leaders in ISKCON, they are sitting actually in very difficult at the age, at this age, they are 70 plus and they are physically having so many troubles. They're traveling. So there is a mercy of the pure devotee. They are following just like Srila Prabhupada. So in this teachings, especially Srila Narada Muni in 4.30, 1.9, Narada Muni was saying, when a living entity engages in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Controller, his birth, all his fruitive activities, his lifespan, his mind, and his words are all factually perfect. What are those? Please repeat after me. His birth, please repeat. His fruitive activities, his lifespan, his mind, and his words. And all these things become perfect. So here Shilpa Narada Muni is saying, like, if you don't use this in Krishna service, using the senses, fruitive activities, lifespan, mind, then all this will become imperfect. Right? So human being actually, human body is given actually to perform bhakti. Perform bhakti and go back to Krishna. So, but this is a intelligent. There are human being two kinds of intelligence. One is intelligent, one is ignorant. So intelligent, even the Srimad Bhagavatam says, Krishna Varnam, Trisha Krishnam, Tango Pangastra Parshadam, Yajnai Sankirtanai Praya, Yajante Sumedasa. So only intelligent people will take the process of bhakti. So they are called human beings. To come to the human being platform, we actually have to follow four regulative principles. How many of you know the four regulative principles here? How many of you know? So you should know the four regulative principles. You should practice. What is that? No meditating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. So these four principles, if you follow these four principles, then we will become human being, not a devotee. So when you follow this, you become a human being. Otherwise, you are just for the sake of satisfying your tongue, you are killing animals. And people are always kept in ignorant by the alcohol. So there are the four regulative principles. If you follow, then only you will become human being. Then gradually, if you chant Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When you chant, then you slowly, your heart becomes cleansed. Then Krishna will enter in your heart. Actually, you can see the mirror in the Krishna. Krishna is like mirror, Krishna's face. So your heart is like mirror, Krishna is there already. Only you have to do is you take a cloth and wet cloth and wipe it. So the process is, what is it called? Chetu Darpana Marjanam. To chant Hare Krishna and hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is, when you first become a human being, then a devotee. So Prabhupada was explaining in yesterday's class itself, so many people in general, they're traveling from one place to another place for work, for job, for study. They are going long journey daily. Even their own child is unable to recognize. So this is a situation we are in, the Kali Yuga people. They are not giving priority even to the family. So they are leaving the villages, they are going to the cities, and they are giving their time to metros, trains, buses. Right? So that's why Srila Prabhupada encourages simple living, high thinking. High thinking is only Krishna. All activities engaged in Krishna. So that's what his birth, our birth, fruitive activities, our lifespan, our mind, our words should be engaged in Krishna service. So that is that verse. So the senses, the purport Prabhupada says, the senses are worth possessing when engaged in the service of the Lord. So otherwise, what is the use of the senses? Even the senses is a part of creation. When Krishna created the material creation, or all the senses, 5 Jnanendriyas and 5 Karmendriyas. So all these senses are created part of creation. So this body, everybody has the same senses, right? So these senses are part of creation. The same senses when you engage in Krishna service, you go to Krishna. The same senses when you engage for your sense gratification, you remain and suffer in this material world, birth after birth. This is simple. Krishna created in the second canto, it comes, the creation canto. It comes like Mahatattva is there, just like this big hall. If you imagine this as a spiritual world, at this in the corner, if just like a mustard seed, that much size, there is a spiritual material world. It's like a cloud, it is there. So that is called Mahatattva. So by Mahatattva, in the Mahatattva, Karanodaka ocean was there. And Mahavishnu was lying there in the Karanodaka ocean. And many universes are coming from his pores of hairs. His skin pores, many universes are coming when he breathes out. When he breathes in, all the universes, they go inside. So what happens when we breathe? So when we breathe, nothing happens. But when we don't breathe, they will, they will cremate the body. So this is what happens when we breathe or don't breathe. So but Karanodakashaya Vishnu, when he breathes, millions of universes they come out. Millions of universes they go in when he breathes in. So this creation, then Mahatattva, from Mahatattva, senses, false ego, then living entities are introduced into the universe by just his glance, Mahavishnu's glance. Living entities are injected into the universes. Then we will get the senses, all the material things. So if you use the same senses, same everything, in Ishopanishad it says, Ishavasyam idam sarvyam tena tekyena bunjeta magrada kasya svidhanam. So everything belongs to Krishna. If you have that consciousness, then we will engage properly. We do not waste the resources. So we engage everything in the service of Krishna. So one time Srila Prabhupada was walking in the Mayapur. So he saw the tap is leaking. Then Prabhupada said, "Can you see?" He said. And people, all the disciples, they become, like little enthusiastic. Maybe, some demigod came or something came, which we could not see. So Prabhupada said again, "Can you see?" He said. Nobody said anything. "Can't you see?" Then they requested Prabhupada, "What is there?" Then Prabhupada said, "The tap is leaking there." So all the energy belongs to Krishna. So only a pure devotee can understand how to utilize it in Krishna's service. So we should know, like, we should not feel like, okay, I am doing now, bhakti. I am a child of Krishna. Krishna's energy is my energy, so I can enjoy everything. Not like that. Tena tektena bunjeta. What is the quota? What is our quota? We actually have no quota. So a devotee thinks I have no quota. I'm depending on the mercy of Krishna. So until we come to that stage, we should use our quota. We should not waste the resources. So that is the consciousness of the pure devotee. So so this creation is meant for purification. All the material world is meant for what? Our purification. So when we engage these material things in the service of Lord, then we will become purified. And the purification is like, just like you will know actually, when the purification happens, you progress in the devotional service. Prabhupada says the proof is in the pudding. When you eat the pudding, you don't say, okay, I'm feeling strength. You don't think. Actually, you feel it. Your hunger is subsided. You don't think, okay, my hunger is going away or not. You don't think, right? Or you don't go to doctor to check. When you eat the pudding, you actually, the proof is in the pudding, you actually get strength. You actually, your hunger will go away. So that is the proof. So when the purification happens, and your service attitude will increase. The service attitude. So how to know that? Just see Prabhupada's disciples, like, even at the age of 70 years, 70 plus, they are serving. That is a service attitude. In the material world, people, get retired. After they are serving 50 years or 60 years, they get retired. They'll go, take some farmhouse or something. Nowadays, they are living in the cities, in small apartments. So they're actually becoming mad. So without proper association, even they don't have relatives, even their children live somewhere else. So they are actually becoming mentally ill. Many devotees. The same situation in the US happening in India now. The old people are becoming mentally ill. Why? So they are not serving Krishna. All the lifespan they have spent in serving government or some other things, their children, but their children are not taking care of them now. So the ultimate object of service, object of love is Krishna. So we have to serve Krishna, and we have to treat everybody as part and parcel of Krishna. So that is the responsibility we have as a devotee. Not just serving Krishna. And Shivaji, Lord Shivaji says, even service to the devotees is greater than serving to the Lord. Right? So we have to serve the devotees. We have to serve the pure devotees. We have to serve the devotee who we are staying with. We have to serve. Because Lord Shiva himself says. Right? So he is a Praman, he's one of the Mahajan, 12 Mahajans. So that is a process of engaging the material senses in the service of the Lord and in the servants of the Lord. Service of the servants of the Lord. So otherwise, in the 4.31.10, Sri Narada Muni says, otherwise our senses are useless. A civilized human being has three kinds of birth. First is by father and mother, by semen, and the next birth by initiation by spiritual master, and the third is by Yajnopavit. Three births. First is by semen, and second is by spiritual master, first initiation, and the third is Yajnopavit, and that is third initiation. So even in ISKCON we have these three initiation. Like first somebody takes birth at home, but after meeting one devotee, Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, right? We meet some devotee, then we get first initiation to chant, Hare Krishna, who is chanting seriously 16 rounds. To chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So to chant, like, we need the devotional seed, right? The devotional seed is planted by Krishna and Guru. They plant in our heart the seed of devotional service to chant Hare Krishna mantra. Then after practicing few years, and if you make significant progress, then you will get second initiation. Then you can actually serve deities. Otherwise, we are not allowed to go in the altar. So that is the process of, given by Krishna. And Prabhupada, made even a Chandala, like Mlecha, the Brahmana. So that is the power of the process given by Krishna. So now, even by birth, who is not even a Brahmana can become a Brahmana in ISKCON. and can serve deities under the guidance of bona fide leaders, bona fide teachers. So, but the Brahmanas, actually Brahma Bandhus, nowadays nobody is Brahmana, everybody is Shudra, right? Because nobody follows the four relative principles. So the Brahma Bandhus are Shudras. So nowadays, like even in the British age, they are given, because they have some material intelligence, they are given high posts in the government. So they served government and big companies, but they left bhakti, the spiritual activity. They left the spiritual activities. And the Vaishyas, they left the cow protection. So our Vedic culture almost lost. So this is a danger. So the Vedic culture depends on the cow, especially cow. If the cow is there, then the Brahmana will be there. To take care of cow, there should be a Vaishya. And there should be a Kshatriya to administer everything in the kingdom. And there should be a Shudra to serve everybody. Then he will be promoted. So this is a system, Varnashrama system is meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord, to engage our senses according to our nature to satisfy the Supreme Lord. But if you don't satisfy the senses of the Lord, then they are useless. So that's what there is a verse, Atah Bhumbir Dvijashreshta Varnashrama Vibhagasha Sanushtitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. So nowadays, nobody is taking care of cows. But I heard, we are building a Goshala here. So that's a wonderful thing, through ISKCON actually we are doing so many wonderful things. So nowadays we don't know which is pure ghee, right? So if you don't have pure ghee, it is difficult to follow the four regulative principles also. You don't know what you are eating. Is it from pure cow ghee or something else? So devotees have to take the initiative, everybody has to take the initiative to promote, to protect the cows, to promote our Vedic culture. And Prabhupada says, just is not enough, just taking a birth from mother and father by semen. It's not enough. Prabhupada is promoting the purport like there should be Garbhadana Samskara. When you follow Garbhadana Samskara, then a devotee will, take birth in the family. Otherwise, another demon, like another ignorant person, there is no use of. He will take birth. So when Garbhadana Samskara is performed, a pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj take birth in the womb of the mother. And following the principles, chanting and four regulative principles, even a Chandala becomes qualified Brahmana. Prabhupada is saying. But nowadays what's happening? Even Brahmanas, they are leaving the culture and going to US or higher jobs. They are doing higher jobs. They are actually becoming Shudras. Whatever the best life they got to cultivate the Brahmanical culture, to be engaged in the service of Krishna, they are misusing it. So as they misuse, they will degrade in the next life. In the next life, they will become, we don't know, animal or something. So that's why if you don't engage the senses in the service of the Lord, they will become useless. There is no meaning for these senses. And Prabhupada says, Sri Narada Muni says in the 11th verse, what is the use of studying all these Vedas and everything, all the scriptures, if you don't come to the conclusion that Krishna is the source of everything. Vedesya sarvair ahamaiva vedyo vedanta videva chaham sarvasya chaham hridisannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. So this is a verse. It tells like Krishna is the essence of all the Vedas. The essence of all the scriptures, all the Vedas is to know that Krishna is the ultimate worshipable object. But even after studying so many scriptures, If you don't come to that conclusion, all your endeavor is lost. So the ultimate, so like this, there are so many verses, like almost 13 verses are there. So ultimately, Sri Narada Muni gives, Krishna is the root of the tree. If you pour the water to the root, all parts of the tree will be nourished. So bhakti is the ultimate thing. So when you do bhakti, what are the qualities? The Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes very dear to those devotees who have no material possessions but are fully happy in possessing the devotional service of the Lord. Indeed, the Lord relishes the devotional activities of such devotees. Those who are puffed up with material education, wealth, aristocracy, and fruitive activities, they are very proud of possessing material things, and they often deride the devotees. Even if such people of the Lord worship, the Lord never accepts them. So here Narada Muni is saying, people who are not interested in material possessions, who are only interested in Krishna, these called devotee. And the devotee never offends any other living entity. So these are the two qualities. What is the first quality? All the possessions, material possessions, he engages in the service of Lord Krishna. The second quality, he never offends devotee. And the next, so to the devotee, what is the result? Ultimate result. What is the ultimate result? Krishna will become sold out. Krishna gives himself to the devotee. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient, he becomes independent on his devotees. He does not care for the goddess of fortune, nor for the kings and demigods who are after the favors of the goddess of fortune. Where is that person who is actually grateful and will not worship the personality of Godhead? So when you serve Krishna with love, actually Krishna is selling himself to you, who is worshipped by thousands of millions of Lakshmi Devis, worshipped by so many demigods. There he is leaving everybody. He is leaving millions of Lakshmi Devis. He is leaving all demigods, all big people. He is coming to you because you are performing devotional service with love, without any attraction for material possessions, and without offending anybody. So Krishna is selling himself to you. So who will not worship Krishna? So Narada Muni is asking. So we are actually fortunate. So Prabhupada is saying one has to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead from a pure devotee. Prabhupada has given this process. Daily Srimad Bhagavatam in the morning, Mangalarti, Guru Puja, preaching, so many services, Prasadam. So we are very fortunate to get connected to this process. And the pure devotees and especially disciples of Srila Prabhupada still are inspiring and serving. So it is our responsibility to actually preach, to propagate the mission in the guidance of bona fide leaders. So that's all I have prepared, but there is time limit. So Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Hitai Gaur Premanande.